Hi guys, sorry about the delay this morning. It's been a little bit of a windy one, so I'm not sure if the sound's going to work right or not. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out today or not, but hey, I wanted to be here. I wanted to hit that record button. I wanted to be with all of you guys and remind myself that yes, greatness does start with the first sip. And I woke up in a fantastic mood this morning. I've become a different version of myself. I've created a new reality. I've created a new paradigm. I've created and I am creating. And I've realized that the choices that I've made up until now have been necessary in order to achieve my best life. And as I fiddle with the camera, as I fiddle with what I'm doing right now, I feel okay about it. Technical glitches be damned. I'm not going to worry about anything anymore because I know I've already done it all. And I know that you've done it all. And I know that you're capable of doing it all. And I know that you have. And once we recognize the fact that all of our choices and actions have been necessary to bring us to this point in life where we can step forward and claim our own power, we can let go of anything external and know that it all starts with the divine spark inside of us. That's when we create our own reality. That's when we create our own best future. And once you realize that you've already done everything that there possibly is to do in this world, you can start to bring yourself and perceive that version of you that you've always wanted to be instead of needing something external to set your life on a path. You can realize that, yes, I'm an infinite being in a world with infinite choices and a world of infinite possibilities. And I've made all of these choices. And what I perceive is only a matter of my own mind and my own mindset. And nothing unreal exists. And everything real is a possibility. And once you realize and once you take into account the fact that all the choices that you could ever possibly make, you have made, and you continue to make on a daily, day-to-day basis and a daily basis, creates the reality that you find yourself in. And once you realize the fact that, yes, you've lived the life of a quadrillionaire. Yes, you've lived the life of a serial killer. Yes, you've lived the life in servitude. Yes, you've lived the life as a martyr. You've lived the life as a self-righteous, morally indignant douchebag. And you've given away your power to other people and you've controlled other people and you've manipulated other people and you've lived a life of piety. You've done it all. And at that moment, when you realize that you can actually put yourself into that version of you that you've already created and are creating, you become the Abraxas, you become the Doug Weapon, you become that infinite being. And it's larger than this prison that you find yourself in right now. And that prison that you find yourself in is only a matter of your own perception and your own thoughts, and nothing that you've ever thought about doesn't exist somewhere. And whether I wake up and did 100 push-ups this morning, or if I woke up and just stayed in bed and I did the same thing, both both times, both equally possible as soon as I put my thought towards that. And once you become that version of you that you've decided that you want to perceive in life, then everything else that was in your external world falls away and you can experience new things on a day-to-day basis. You can be the world's greatest lover. You can fly around the stage like a bird. You can use telekinetic powers. You can communicate solely through telepathy. And you've already done that. And where you find yourself right now is where you wanted to perceive yourself. And you can break free from that as soon as you realize that you've already done it all. And that's what I'm doing these days. That's what I've decided. I've decided to become that version of me that is an infinite being, that is a praxis, that is beyond good and evil, that is beyond right and wrong, that just observes and bees and dwells in the emotions and doesn't let his thoughts control him, but just lets his emotions dictate his reality. And once you master your emotions, once you realize that if you're emotionally triggered by something, you have to ask yourself, why is that bothering me? Why does somebody else have power over me when they don't? Where when you perceive something that you like, do it. If you perceive something that you don't like, don't do it. And it becomes easier each and every time you do that. And when I decided that money was no longer an object, I stopped trading my time for money. When I realized that I have infinite powers, that I've already done everything, that I'm an immortal being, that I'm an infinite being, that God and the devil are only a construct of a prison that I find myself in, I could escape it. And I could escape it from beyond as that immortal being because I am greater than the God. I am more evil than the devil. I am all things and everything all at once. And I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds like woo woo magic and garbage, but it's really true. And as long as I live in this present moment, making the choices and making the choices in alignment with who I am, not who I was or who my thoughts perceived me to be and what my thoughts were, that's when I create the magic of achieving a new reality. As above, so below, as within, so without. You are greater than anything that you perceive in life. You are capable of more than anything you've ever perceived. And as I focus on those possibilities, my perception of what I am, who I am, has changed around me. And I'm loving this each and every day because I get to make those new choices. I get to experience a new life. I get to wake up in the morning not worried about my present circumstances because I know that it's only a matter of being that different version of me and everything else flies away. And I don't have to micromanage my life. I don't have to give away my power to anybody else. I just have to live in the present moment, being the version of myself that I want to create. And I already know that I'm a world renowned motivational speaker. I already know that I can fly. I already know that I have telepathic abilities, telekinetic abilities, $1 trillion in the bank. And that's just who I am. And everything else is immaterial. All that requires is my belief in my infinite ability. And I know that each one of you has that within yourselves, that I don't have to convince you of something that you already know. I know that we each have that divine spark within us because we are here. As a child of God, you are a God. You can't be a child of a bird and not be a bird. You can't be the child of a human and not be a human. You are a child of God. You have that divine spark within you. So therefore, you are God. And once you realize that there are paths and there are ways to live your life by, free of judgment, free of shame, free of guilt, and that you are above all of that, you are above a moral construct. You are an infinite being that has done everything. So choose what you want to be and begin. And it can be anything. And I don't care what it is. I don't care who you are. You are a professional athlete. You are the person that went to Hollywood and failed. You are the person that went to Hollywood and succeeded. You are the person that was a motivational speaker and failed, a life coach that failed, and also the same version that succeeded. And it's all the same thing. And it's everything that I've done up until now that woke me up to this reality. And if I'd had a life of ease my entire life, I never would have woken up to my true potential. If I'd had a life of trauma and continued to be bitter and jealous and envious, I would not have proclaimed my ability to soar above my life's problems. Everything that's happened in my life has happened for a reason. And that reason is that I've chosen to experience that. I've wished it into my life. And once you start wishing different things into your life and realizing that anything that's material doesn't really matter, you can live a life of luxury and ease and still not be awake and be completely miserable because you haven't woken yourself up to the true potential of what you are. And you are an infinite being that can create your own reality. And as I change my reality and as I change my circumstances, I become a bigger, brighter version of myself. And I implore you guys to just figure out what it is that you want to be and be it. And the choices will come to you. Because once you give up the shame, the guilt, the resentment, the societal dictates and norms, that's when you can create your inner greatness. That's when you can create your new lifestyle. Personally, I think in tongues in order to achieve that. But there are other people that use tarot cards. There are other people that see themselves as a star seed. It doesn't really matter. If you don't let your thoughts control you, if you don't let your outside circumstances control you, and you just be the version of you that you want to be, regardless of thoughts, dictates, choices, norms, that's when you create the greatness. You have to stop worrying about what other people think. You have to stop worrying about what other people want. You get to do whatever you want each and every day. You get to proclaim your own power. You get to proclaim your own abilities. You get to proclaim the world that you want to perceive, and the world will respond. The universe will provide you with all of the necessary resources to fulfill your mission in life and perceive whatever it is you wish to perceive. That's how it works. And you just have to be grateful and realize and wake up to the fact that you are greater than anything. You are a being that is filled with divine light, that is filled with the spark of creation. So go out there and create the reality you want to live in. And do that by recognizing that you've already done it. So just look inside yourself and remember how the person that has lived that experiences has felt in life, and it will come to you. And everything else will stop triggering you emotionally, and you'll be grateful for all the experiences that you've had, all the trauma that you've had, because you've woken up to the fact that without that, hell, I wouldn't be able to do anything. And now that I know that I can do anything, I am so grateful for everyone that I've interacted with in my entire life. I'm so grateful for the way that I've responded to everybody in each of those interactions, because it woke me up to the fact that anything is possible and that I am an infinite being, that everyone is an infinite being and nobody's superior or inferior. We are all equal. We are all equal under the level, and we are all able to create greatness. And we are all experiencing life and learning the lessons of life that we want to perceive, because we've already perceived everything anyway. So I know I'm a little bit shorter today than I usually am, but you know what? I just want to experience life. I want to experience the greatness. Oh, it's Friday. I'll probably put up a couple of shorts that talk about greatness, becoming your own sense of being, and maybe even throw in a joke somewhere along the way today. Because you know what? Life's a game. This is a theater. It's a theater of our own creation. And everything that I've ever wanted for in life, I've already have. And you've already had. And I can't tell you anything. I can't teach you anything because you already know it. All I'm doing is asking you to perceive your own greatness, perceive your own infinite being, and realize that whatever you want, you've got it. So figure out what it is that you want and just be that version of yourself. And then realize that the choices that you've already made those choices. So God bless, love you. And remember, create your own Abraxas, create your own Doug weapon, and embrace your infinite potential and your infinite reality. And claim it in the version of you that you decide you want to perceive now. Because if you don't like what you've been perceiving up till now, become a different version of yourself, and you'll see your outside circumstances change. As within, so without, as above, so below. And remember, greatness starts with the first sip.